Has Ferrari already chosen their champion? While Hamílton quietly celebrates his strong results, Leclerc publicly complains about his car, exposing a possible internal bias that could shatter the team's unity and ignite a war within Maranello. There has been a notable shift in the atmosphere inside the Italian team's headquarters this week. While Hamílton managed to secure a surprisingly solid performance in the latest outing, all eyes turned to Leclerc, whose post-session statements have left little to the imagination. Speaking with a sense of visible frustration, the Monegasque driver made it clear that he is not at all satisfied with the current state of his machinery. "We cannot keep pretending this is normal," he said, pointing fingers, though not directly, at the technical department responsible for setting up his car. Leclerc emphasized that the balance, grip levels, and overall responsiveness of the car were far from what he expected from a team of this caliber. And while many expected a united front between teammates, the contrast in tone from Hamílton was staggering. While Leclerc vented his frustrations, Hamílton took to the microphones with a more composed, even satisfied tone. The British driver spoke about positive progress and encouraging signs, fueling rumors that the team might be giving him a bit more attention, or at the very least, more effective resources. Insiders close to the garage have started whispering about subtle differences in the engineering setups between both drivers, with some claiming that Hamílton has been receiving slightly more aggressive upgrades since the last internal review. Although the team publicly denies any favoritism, this pattern is becoming harder to ignore. Some fans argue it is simply a coincidence, while others are convinced that a new internal dynamic is developing, one that might not favor Leclerc as it once did. What makes this situation even more complex is the context surrounding Leclerc's recent complaints. According to sources close to the Italian outfit, the car he is currently driving has been plagued by inconsistencies that go beyond his own capacity to adapt. From unpredictable tire degradation to inconsistent feedback from the steering wheel, Leclerc has reportedly been in continuous discussion with his race engineer and the technical director, demanding answers as to why the car behaves so differently compared to Hamílton's setup. While the team insists both drivers are receiving equal treatment, the telemetry data, when reviewed behind closed doors, suggests otherwise. Engineers familiar with the situation claim that some of the components used in Hamílton's car were pre-tested in simulator sessions weeks before they were officially approved for both cars, raising questions about who gets access to innovations first. At the same time, whispers coming from Maranello hint at internal friction between the two camps within the team. On one side, there is the veteran faction that reportedly leans toward Hamílton, not only because of his global influence and reputation, but also due to his ability to give detailed feedback that aligns more closely with the engineering philosophy of the new technical leadership. On the other side, Leclerc, once seen as the undisputed team leader and long-term future, is starting to feel pushed aside. Some insiders believe that the arrival of Hamílton has unintentionally caused a power struggle, not only on track but within the corridors of influence. It is no longer just about who finishes ahead, it is about who shapes the direction of the team's development. To make matters even more intriguing, independent analysts have pointed out that during the last 3 sessions where Leclerc struggled, Hamílton posted improvements in sectors that had previously been weak spots for the team. This could indicate that the car is being refined with feedback that suits one driving style more than the other. And in Formula One, where millimeters and milliseconds matter, any imbalance, whether perceived or real, can spark internal chaos. The question now becomes, is Leclerc simply having a dip in form, or is there a deeper, structural favoritism emerging from within Ferrari that could change the team dynamic completely? While Leclerc battles frustration and confusion over his machinery shortcomings, Hamílton appears to be quietly thriving. His recent upward trajectory has not gone unnoticed within the paddock, with many pointing out the stark contrast between the two Ferrari drivers. Behind the scenes, data shows that Hamílton has managed to exploit areas of performance that Leclerc simply cannot access with his current car behavior. Key figures in the Ferrari garage have praised Hamílton's adaptability, noting that his ability to mask the car's weaknesses and extract pace from unstable setups gives him an edge under difficult conditions. This ability, honed through years of championship-winning experience, could be the very trait that is creating a growing divide within the team's performance narrative. Adding fuel to the fire is the recent resurfacing of reports suggesting that Ferrari's upper management is divided over which driver the team should prioritize heading into the final stages of development for the 2025 car. While publicly maintaining equal status between both drivers, there are strong rumors that internal meetings have favored Hamílton's development preferences, particularly in areas involving suspension stiffness, corner entry response, and rear-end stability, all areas Leclerc has expressed frustration with. If these preferences become dominant in the design philosophy, it is not just a matter of car performance, it is a subtle but powerful shift in team dynamics that may leave Leclerc marginalized. Moreover, Italian media outlets have been relentless in their coverage, with some headlines openly questioning whether Leclerc still enjoys the full confidence of Ferrari's technical team. An article published by La Gazzetta dello Sport went as far as to claim that Ferrari now listens to the voice of a champion, referring to Hamilton's influence within internal meetings. These remarks have struck a nerve with Leclerc's loyal supporters and sparked debates among fans, who feel that the Monegasque driver is being sidelined in favor of the more politically experienced Briton. All of this comes at a time when Ferrari cannot afford internal distractions, as the battle at the front tightens and both drivers are expected to deliver under growing pressure. The tension between Leclerc and Hamilton has now begun to affect the atmosphere within the Scuderia garage, with subtle signs of division becoming more apparent. Mechanics and engineers, once operating with fluid collaboration between both sides of the garage, are now reportedly favoring one camp or the other. Internal sources suggest that several crew members have requested reassignment to Hamilton's side, citing a more constructive and calm working environment. This subtle shift, though unofficial, is being interpreted by some observers as a vote of confidence in Hamilton's leadership style and development feedback, further marginalizing Leclerc even as he demands answers. Adding another layer to this evolving dynamic is the perception among technical staff that Hamilton's feedback is more data-driven and easier to translate into car improvements. During recent simulator sessions in Maranello, insiders noted that the team achieved quicker iteration cycles based on the British driver's input, which they believe has led to measurable gains in handling consistency. Meanwhile, Leclerc's feedback, though passionate and detailed, is sometimes viewed as emotional or reactive, something that complicates the process of aligning engineering changes with performance gains. The fact that Hamilton has developed a reputation over the years for offering calm, precise communication during high-pressure moments only reinforces this internal bias. But for Leclerc, the frustration lies deeper than just technical feedback. There is a growing belief that his long-standing loyalty to the team has not been rewarded. Despite years of service, multiple podiums, and a deep emotional connection with the Tifosi, he finds himself increasingly out of sync with the direction Ferrari seems to be taking. To make matters worse, some reports suggest that certain members of upper management, particularly those brought in after the restructuring earlier this year, are not as personally invested in Leclerc's success as their predecessors were. With this shift in internal politics, the young Monegasque may be realizing that team loyalty is not always a currency that pays dividends. The broader question now facing Ferrari is whether they can manage this emerging rift before it spirals into open conflict. As the spotlight intensifies and both drivers chase their respective goals, maintaining unity within the team is no longer just an operational challenge. It has become a matter of survival in an increasingly competitive and politically charged environment. In private circles, what began as a difference in on-track outcomes is rapidly evolving into a quiet power struggle within the Scuderia. According to sources close to the situation in Maranello, Leclerc has grown increasingly suspicious that development priorities are subtly shifting away from his side of the garage. While not publicly accusing anyone, he has reportedly raised internal concerns that the most recent updates to the SF24 chassis, particularly in terms of suspension geometry and rear-end stability, appear to suit Hamilton's driving style more naturally. This suspicion is further exacerbated by the fact that Hamilton had input on these changes during the mid-season technical review, a meeting that Leclerc missed due to personal commitments. What makes this situation especially delicate is that Ferrari, despite its legendary history, has not always excelled at internal harmony when fielding two top-tier drivers. The echoes of past duels, like the friction between Barrichello and Schumacher, or the tension that surrounded the short-lived partnership between Beetle and Leclerc himself, loom large. Many fans and pundits fear that the current scenario is veering in a similar direction. And while Hamilton has kept his public posture diplomatic, stating in interviews that there is mutual respect and healthy competition, his body language in recent briefings and debriefs has told a different story. He appears more assured, more central, and more in command of the room. This growing divide is not just a problem for the drivers, it is also a test of leadership for the team principal. Frédéric Vasseur, who took over Ferrari's top position with promises of cultural renewal and strategic alignment, now finds himself under enormous pressure to preserve balance. His challenge lies in managing egos and expectations without favoring one side so overtly that it shatters internal trust. Some insiders believe Vasseur leans toward Hamilton due to the seven-time world champion's global profile and political clout within the paddock, which could help attract technical talent and sponsors. Others argue that marginalizing Leclerc would be a monumental error, given his loyalty and deep understanding of Ferrari's DNA. Meanwhile, fans have noticed subtle changes. Social media exploded when the team's official account posted a behind-the-scenes video showing Hamilton working closely with engineers, while Leclerc appeared isolated and frustrated. Online debates have intensified, with the Tifosi split between defending their longtime hero and embracing the new dynamic brought by the veteran champion. This division within the fanbase mirrors the unease inside the team itself, a fracture that, if not handled carefully, could derail Ferrari's progress entirely. The ripple effects of this internal discord at Ferrari have begun to attract attention beyond Maranello. Industry insiders suggest that rival teams are closely monitoring the situation, sensing an opportunity to capitalize on Ferrari's growing instability. Some engineers and technical staff have reportedly expressed frustration with the mixed signals coming from team management, especially regarding development focus and resource allocation. A leaked memo from within the garage hinted at confusion over priorities, with some departments questioning whether they should optimize setups for Lecler or tailor them to Hamilton's style. This ambiguity hampers efficient decision-making and slows down the pace of innovation, a critical weakness in Formula One's ultra-competitive environment. In parallel, media speculation about potential driver lineup changes next season has intensified. Whispers about whether Lecler might seek opportunities elsewhere if the situation does not improve have been growing louder. His contract negotiations, due later this year, are expected to be complicated by the current climate. Sources close to Lecler reveal that he is seriously contemplating his future at Ferrari, feeling increasingly marginalized despite delivering consistently strong performances under challenging circumstances. On the other hand, Hamilton's camp remains tight-lipped but is believed to be exploring all options to ensure the seven-time world champion maintains his seat and influence. Adding fuel to the fire, the relationship between Lecler and Hamilton off-track has reportedly become strained. What was once a respectful rivalry now carries an undercurrent of tension, with both drivers reportedly avoiding unnecessary interactions in team meetings and paddocks. This shift is uncharacteristic, especially considering both have publicly emphasized professionalism and mutual respect in the past. Team psychologists and sports performance experts have been called in to manage the mental health and morale of both drivers, highlighting how serious the situation has become. Ultimately, Ferrari faces a crucial crossroads. The team must decide whether to double down on a clear number one driver strategy, risking alienation of the other, or find a way to foster genuine collaboration between their stars. The decisions taken now could define Ferrari's trajectory for years to come, affecting everything from championship ambitions to internal culture and brand image. As tensions simmer beneath the surface, one thing is clear: the Scuderia's internal battle is as intense as any fight on the track, and the world is watching closely. The strategic dilemma facing Ferrari extends beyond just managing two high-profile drivers. At the heart of the issue lies the question of team identity and philosophy. Historically, Ferrari has thrived when rallying behind a single figurehead, a clear leader who embodies the spirit of the team and channels resources accordingly. However, with Lecler and Hamilton both delivering exceptional results in different ways, the leadership is torn between maintaining tradition and adapting to a modern era of shared leadership. Internally, some key personnel have voiced concerns about the potential fallout from favoritism. Engineers aligned more closely with Lecler argue that consistent support and prioritization are vital to unlocking the full potential of the car, especially given his deep technical feedback and relentless commitment to development. Conversely, those on Hamilton's side stress his unparalleled racecraft, experience, and ability to extract performance under pressure, suggesting the team must not undervalue these traits when assigning resources and strategic focus. The tension has spilled into public discourse as well, with prominent pundits and former drivers weighing in. Some suggest Ferrari risks losing both drivers if the conflict continues unchecked. Others point to the psychological toll the situation might take on the team as a whole, warning that prolonged internal disputes can erode trust, hamper communication, and ultimately damage on-track performance. The stakes are particularly high this season as the championship battle tightens and every marginal advantage counts. Moreover, rumors persist about secret meetings and behind-the-scenes negotiations attempting to broker peace or realign priorities. Sources reveal that Ferrari's top executives have initiated closed-door discussions with both Lecler and Hamilton, trying to establish a more cohesive strategy that balances the ambitions and needs of both stars without compromising the team's unity. Yet, skepticism remains about whether these talks will lead to lasting solutions or simply paper over deep-rooted issues. As the tension simmers, the fans remain divided. Social media platforms are flooded with debates, with supporters of Lecler criticizing perceived bias and demanding fair treatment, while Hamilton's loyalists defend his legacy and question the team's decisions. This polarizing atmosphere underscores the delicate balancing act Ferrari must perform, not just internally but in managing its global image and maintaining fan loyalty. In this volatile context, one thing is certain: Ferrari's internal dynamics have become a chess game of epic proportions, where every move and countermove will shape not only the season but the future of one of Formula One's most storied teams. Whether Ferrari can navigate these stormy waters and unify its champions remains the ultimate question hanging over Maranello. As the situation within Ferrari reaches a boiling point, the broader implications for Formula One are becoming impossible to ignore. The struggle between Lecler and Hamilton is not merely a personal rivalry but a reflection of changing dynamics in the sport itself, where experience confronts youthful vigor and tradition clashes with evolving team strategies. Adding fuel to the fire, whispers of potential moves and team changes have begun circulating in the paddock. Industry insiders speculate that if Ferrari fails to reconcile these tensions, one or both drivers might consider their future elsewhere, potentially triggering a seismic shakeup in the driver market. Hamilton's legacy, combined with his relentless ambition, makes him a highly coveted asset, while Leclerc's rising star and technical insight promise long-term growth. Meanwhile, Ferrari's rivals are watching closely, eager to exploit any weakness. This internal discord could provide the opening teams need to assert dominance, leveraging stability and unified focus to their advantage. The stakes, therefore, extend beyond just Ferrari, impacting championship outcomes and the very nature of competition at the highest level. From a psychological standpoint, the pressure on both drivers is immense. Hamilton, known for his mental toughness, faces the challenge of proving he remains the team's pillar amid uncertainty, while Leclerc must navigate the expectations of being seen as the future of Ferrari, all while grappling with perceived favoritism and its effects on morale. In the end, the unfolding drama at Ferrari embodies the human element behind the sport, the passions, politics, and personalities that drive not just machines but the very essence of competition. How this story will conclude remains uncertain, but one thing is clear: Ferrari's internal battle is capturing the imagination of fans worldwide, promising more intrigue, drama, and controversy in the months to come.